I'm about ready to just go ahead and beat myself in the head with this fucking brick of a hard drive right here. 7 takes, my friends. 7 takes. This is take 7. Kill me, please. But we have, I'm about ready to give up from frustration dealing with this piece of shit phone. But I gotta talk about the Reptilians, man. Gotta talk about the Reptilians. Before we get into it, though, I want to let you know, once again, as always, the links to my social media pages will be in the description below. The subscribe star is damn near finished. I've finished it on my end. I went while the other video, the Fall of an Empire, was uploading. I was doing the subscribe star, and it's done. I've got all that stuff finished. Just gotta wait for it to get done on their end. They gotta make sure I'm not a bot account, so I get me cleared through. When I get the clearance and when I get through, they let me in. I'll be pretty good. I'll be good to go. So, yeah. Once again, I want to remind you though that nothing on there will be like behind a paywall. I'm not pulling an Alpha Omega sin where I totally give up YouTube. And, I'm not gonna do that shit anyway. But go ahead and put all your stuff behind a paywall. Oh, you want to watch my content? $5. Not gonna happen ever. All my stuff in the future, music, movies. Fuck, I don't know why I said movies. I don't do movies other than videos, but music, books, videos, fucking anything like that's going to be free. The only thing I'm gonna have like behind that subscribe star is stuff you're gonna get for free anyway, but it's just gonna be early access for the people on my subscribe star. So it'll be like if I'm gonna come out with the book. Let's say when I finish the book called Skybound that I'm working on, the one with the protagonist named Zenith, a sci-fi epic. When I get done with it, I'll put it out there. The people that I've donated to my subscribe star will get to read it first, or will get a link to a thing where they can read it first, and then like after about 2 or 3 days, you'll get to read it too. And so it's no big deal. I want to give people that have donated me an extra incentive to, I want to give them to something for donating to me. And I don't really want to lock anything behind a paywall because I don't believe in doing such a thing. So I just will do that instead, and just pretty much use the subscribe star as a Patreon replacement for those who enjoy my videos and want to donate to me. They can do it that way. So I think that's the way I'm going to do it. That is the way I'm going to do it. And about the barbecue, I'm not doing that. That was a mistake. That was a fail of an idea, and I was just brainstorming anyway when I came up with that. So yeah, I'll come up with something else, but not a fucking barbecue. Anyway, maybe in the future, just not right now. Gotta talk about this Reptilians though. So let's start from the beginning. Mr. David Icke. Toward the late 2000s, early into the 2010s, I believe it was, he wrote this book about the reptilian beings, who, according to him, these creatures came from another world. They were shape-shifting entities that came to this world from another. Pretty much body snatchers. They would assume the forms of various power figures here, and they would manipulate governments and things, and were just trying to ruin the world. Now, David Icke was smoking some good crack that day, I guess, when he wrote that. But for every pound of crack he smoked, there's a guy with a channel called Shield of the Sun, and he smokes about 10 times that amount in meth every day. Because he has a video about David Icke, or had, before his channel got taken down for religious extremism related stuff, and also various copyright strikes. He used to threaten to, he used to say it was a great idea that we should all just go out there and burn atheists, and if you disagree, you're not a real Christian. So he was utterly nuts, and he had this idea that David Icke was possessed by the demonic host of Satan, and he was sent to take over the world by the Reptilians. So utter nut job. So we're just gonna ignore him. I just wanted to throw that in there for comedic sake. But in order to make this as logical as possible. See, this is why people view it as being crazy, because it is crazy. A crazy man came up with it. David Icke's nuts. I don't even like David Icke. He's a nut job. I think he's an utter con man, He's a dirtbag, and all this stuff he comes up with is fake, phony, and trash. That's my personal opinion. Now, I think there's a kernel of truth in some of the stuff that he creates. But that kernel of truth is also unintentional. For the most part, all his stuff is lies and just literally fiction. There's nothing backing up his stuff in fact at all. But I think with this particular thing there is, and it's all unintentional, and I can break it down for you, and let's see if we can do that right here. So, let's cut the fat out of the reptilian theory, shall we? In order to make this make any sense at all, we first have to look at the vastness of the universe. The universe is an endless expanse of space, and things filling that space, such as planets, galaxies, dark matter, oh my God, nebula, oh my God, everything you can imagine is out there. So I can definitely imagine that on a planet somewhere out there in the universe, there is a world inhabited by reptilian-looking beings that are exactly as David Icke describes, I guess you could say. They're bipedal, reptilian-like creatures. Notice I say reptilian-like. I don't think they would be reptiles as in the Earth sense, but that definitely exists in the universe too. As vast as it is, there's life exactly like it is on Earth, replicated and copied elsewhere. I'm sure it would be an anomaly if it wasn't. It would be a mathematical anomaly if it wasn't. It has to repeat every so often. So there's definitely humans. I'm sitting there on planet something way out there making videos for YouTube somewhere else on another planet. It's just a carbon copy of everything that's going on here elsewhere. But I think that on another planet there are reptilian-like beings that are that have advanced technology and that are sentient. I think he's right about that. I think that's the only thing he was right about. Now, actually, there's another thing he was right about, and this is where, if you go any further than this, people start to think you're crazy. Now, probably wondering what I'm doing with this disc case. I'm going to take my music DVD out there. Now then, we'll be using this in a minute. The reptilians, let's say they live very, very far away. They probably do. People would say, what the hell would they want to come to Earth here for? I've seen people that wish to argue against this idea. They use their argument as their counter argument as well. Look at Earth. Look at the Milky Way galaxy. I mean, look at Earth. We're in the boondocks. This planet, this solar system, is in the boondocks of the Milky Way galaxy. Why would anybody want to come here? Well, you realize there's more to space than the Milky Way galaxy, right, jackass? Think about this. If you have a race as advanced as these reptilians are described as being, and I believe that races like them have been to Earth. I don't know about these reptilians specifically, but I believe that races like them have been to Earth before. I mean, if you look at Egyptian hieroglyphics, you get a sense of this. If you read the text of the Sumerians about the Anunnaki, you get a sense of this. Let's say these beings have been to Earth. Okay, let me tell you how they would have done it. Oh, how would they travel? There's so much dust out in space, and there's so much rubble and debris. They would get torn to pieces. Einstein. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and show you the fabric of space. It is a flat plane, correct? Alright then. Here's how a wormhole works. You're here, right? If you open up a wormhole right here, right there, what you're going to do is bend. What that does is it bends time and space, allowing you to go through this end here, cross through in between the fabric of space, and come out this other side. Essentially allowing you to bend time and space like this. Let me show you again. This case is falling apart. See, look, it's like it's a piece of shit. So it's hard to show you with this, but you go from being a flat plane when you open up a wormhole to bending it, such as this. If I can do it, and being able to pierce straight through and come out where you want to be. That's important to know, because if these beings are coming from another galaxy, which they would just about have to be coming from, well, they wouldn't have to come from it, but you like to think they are. Most people think they are too. So if they're coming from another galaxy, then that's how they're coming through. I would think it's through wormhole technology. They bend time and space to come through. And it goes from flat plane like this, and then they come straight through out the other side. If you use that technology, I could go from right here where I'm sitting in this computer room to Mars that quick. You see that? You See how fast that is? That's how fast I'd be on Mars. I'd be sitting there in the Palus Marianus crater. That old lightning strike looking crater that I 100% honestly do believe was hit with an energy weapon. You'd be right there on it in seconds. In it, should I say, seeing as it's a canyon or crater, should I say. So yes, I 100% do believe there are reptilians out there, but not the reptilians of David Icke's fictional tale. Not the reptilians that are intermingling with our governments and shape-shifting and stuff. That's a bunch of malarkey. Now, do I think that these beings have interacted with our governments in the past? Oh yes, most certainly. Definitely. Because I also believe a sect of them are human. As well as I described in my previous video, Mankind and Extraterrestrials Part 2, where I talked about how I believed that in the past, before the Ice Age, man went to space and had achieved space travel, at least had went to Mars, at least. And, or I talked about it was in the Solar Warden video, excuse me. I talked about what I thought Solar Warden was, where these spaceships way off at the edge of the solar system. People say they see these capital ships and space cruisers. That could be human. Probably is. There's probably humans that are left out in space from after the Ice Age happened. They didn't want to come back to Earth, so they settled on the other planets in the solar system. And now they're trying to help us advance back to where we are. Seeing as they're human, they could intermingle in our society and we wouldn't even know they're here. Because they're human. They blend right in with us. You would never know that they had been to space and back. So the story of maybe a person like John Teeter, the time traveler, might be very factual then. If you think maybe that if you believe there's advanced humans out there with advanced technology, if you look at the physics of time travel as possible, maybe John Teeter was real. That's another time for another video for another time. So one I might do this evening actually. So because that's very interesting. But you know, personally, I believe it's real. And personally, if you look at the Egyptian hieroglyphics, and it just specifically shows that these beings came down from the sky and interacted with the main world powers at the time, which was Egypt and stuff like that. Egypt and Sumer and places like that. But it doesn't show that they coordinated war with other countries and things like that. That's a farce. They don't talk about these being shape-shifting and things like that. They say that they came down and offered them technology and showed them things that were beyond their wildest imaginations, and they went back up to the stars. And that these people continued to worship the so-called sky walkers or sky people for a long period of time afterward. That I believe, that I get behind. I just don't believe they're shapeshifters that have been warping our politics, because why would they think about this too? Why would they specifically want to interfere in our politics? We're such a small little space rock in the middle of this vast universe. Of all planets, why would they pick this planet full of primitive primates to come and interfere with its government? I think that along their space travels, they've stopped by, because as you look at these hieroglyphics, that's definitely not human. There's some strange beings there. And the Anunnaki definitely are human. They're humanoid in form, but they're not human. They're primates. They come while they're on their journey. They say, "Hey, here's this life-inhabiting planet. Let's just stop by while we're on our way to this other place. Let's stop by." And they stop by. They drop a few things off. Here's how you use this. It's like you play with your dog. You go outside and you play with your dog, and you're showing them how to play fetch. It's essentially, I think, what they were doing with us. They landed. They see these very primitive creatures, and they're like, "Hey, let's show them some cool stuff and see what they do with it. Hey, here's a ray gun, light bulb. Alrighty, see you later." And then they take off and they go back to space again. If you didn't know, the Egyptians had light bulb technology. If you didn't know that, they had knowledge of electricity, as did the ancient Greeks. The ancient Greeks were to a more limited form, though. The ancient Greeks understood the technology behind lightning rods and things like that. They also had indoor plumbing through Archimedes and the Archimedes screw. They had the capabilities of indoor plumbing. And Archimedes also had a concept steam engine that never got built. So it was very, very, very advanced people. People say, "Oh, the ancient people are fucking retarded. America #1. Modern world, man." They're full of shit. It's crap. They're full of crap. The ancient people were very intelligent. I think that a lot of that came from help from outside this plane, if you know what I mean, out from off planet. And that's what I think. I think they were coming on by, and they saw these very primitive like creatures, and they said, well, let's give them a little something something, and then let's leave them alone. And I believe that's exactly what happened. Now, I believe that some of them could have been reptilian in form or fashion. They could have looked like reptiles. Oh, most certainly they could have. But I don't believe they're shapeshifters that are taking the form of Barack Obama or Donald Trump or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't believe in that stuff. I think David Icke's a con man and a phony. But I do, in a roundabout sort of way, I can sort of get behind this reptilian theory in a roundabout sense. You know, not the one David Icke portrayed, but my own take on it is what I can get behind. My own personal interpretation. This interpretation I've presented to you is the one that I can get behind. But I'm not going to tell you to believe what, you know, why I'm believing. Believe what you want to. Think for yourself always. You know, even if what you come across to me seems like utter retardation, think for yourself, because it doesn't matter what I think, it matters what you think. So think for yourselves. And I'm gonna sign off of here. Go eat some breakfast, and I'll see you dudes in the next one. I think I'm gonna make the next one about John Teeter. So if just be expecting that one this evening sometime, right? If the internet don't go out this evening, and if the internet goes out or something happens, because we're expecting storms today too, like we did last night. Power goes out, expect it in the morning or that tomorrow afternoon. But more than likely it'll be up this evening around 10 o'clock p.m. So be expecting that, and signing off. See you dudes this evening. Stick around, please.